So one of the questions I always get, like, we did your pricing class, learned your formula and all stuff, and it was huge for our business. But some people are like, how do you determine pricing based if you don't have like the formula, or they haven't taken your class or something like that? Because we always talk about the way not to do it is just to copy your competition. But how would you do it, like if they hadn't taken your class, or I don't know? Does that help?
Well, I think it's really hard to determine pricing if you don't have a formula, because you don't have all the variables.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think it's almost impossible to do it. You're just throwing numbers at a dartboard and hoping that something sticks. I guess if you had to do something, honestly, I wouldn't. I would use a formula.
Right, because it takes the guessing out. It takes the emotion out of it.
It does, and pricing is so important.
And so emotional too.
So emotional, and it's so important that if your pricing is jacked up, your business isn't going to be profitable. Yeah, I think it's the first thing you need to do.
I think you told me this once. There's two things that you told me. But one of the things you told me is like it's kind of like a boat, and if you don't have all the pieces in place, you just have holes in your boat, and like it can sink your business.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because a lot of people are like, well, I know I need to work on my pricing, but I need to get people in the door first. And then when I get some people in the door, then I'll work on my pricing. And I'm like, no. You don't want to be getting people in the door and spending your time marketing and doing the sessions and doing all that work if your pricing isn't profitable.
Right.
It's like set that aside, get your pricing in check first, so that when you then put money and effort into marketing, you're marketing to the right type of client, and they're going to be paying prices that are profitable.
So you may not even remember telling me this, but this is something that you mentioned in one of your classes I went to, and I went and did it, and you had mentioned that like you need to offer prices that are comparable to other things. And so long story short, this discussion happened, and what came out of it was that like if you go to Pier 1 and buy like a 30 by 40 piece of artwork from Pier 1, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. So you need to like at least be charging that much, because that's like the perceived value of what a piece of art hanging on your wall. And then you probably could charge more because it has their family on it, and like it means more than just something you buy at Pier 1. And that was really interesting for me to go to Pier 1 and saw, it was like, I think it was like a 24 by 36 or something like that, and it was like just a piece of like artwork made overseas and not hand done or whatever, and it was like $650. And I think at the time we were offering like that same piece for like $300. And I was like, okay, so like if somebody go to Pier 1 and buy this, so like I don't know, sometimes you can compare artwork to artwork, and that's one way to do it. I still think it's highly emotional, and I think the formula is the way to do it, because it's just that's what we did and summed it up. But that's one thing you can do, is go shopping and then say like, okay, if this is going to take a wall space, what does that compare? What do other companies charge that's comparable for that wall space? And you'll be surprised that they're getting thousands of dollars for some of those pieces.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you?
Well, exactly. And what we do is really like a piece of furniture. Mm-hmm. It's just a piece of furniture that's on your wall. But if you're thinking of something hanging over your sofa, chances are you're going to be spending a similar amount to what you spent on the sofa.
Right.
And that's a question that I always ask when people are trying to decide if they need to bring their husbands along to make the decision. Mm-hmm. I'll always say, well, would you be comfortable going and picking out a sofa without your husband? And if the wife's like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, he's not going to care.
Yeah, right? He's not going to care. He'll let me pick out what I want. He'll just say whatever decision you make is fine. Mm-hmm. I know that she is absolutely comfortable and capable of spending money without him. If she, on the other hand, is like, oh, absolutely not, he needs to be part of the decision, then that husband needs to be there, because you're kind of setting the tone for about what they're going to spend as well.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you can buy a sofa for $1,500, and you can buy a sofa for $10,000 and everywhere in between. Mm-hmm. And when you don't give a set amount, but you say it's kind of like buying a sofa.
Yeah, they realize there's full range. They also understand that they need to think about it before they buy it too.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that get said in that statement.
Well, and their head, they might be like, oh my gosh, yeah, a sofa, that's going to run me $6,000. Mm-hmm. Where somebody else might be like, oh, a sofa, let's see, if I can go to Pier 1 and find one for, $1,200. Yeah. So they're thinking $1,200 budget, where the other family's thinking just automatically $6,000. But so that just kind of is our little tester to a little tip.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Yeah, just
So
go.
I guess in summary,
Go. Yeah, go.
use a formula.
Use a formula, but go shopping and you'd be amazed what some of these other places like Ethan Allen and stuff are getting for home decor, and your prices may not even be close. But if your
Yeah,
if your
it's true.
ideal client is shopping at some of these places, like why not just at least go look? It gives you some more confidence for sure. But the
Right.
ultimate confidence is the formula.
Yeah, well, and it's a good tip to go shop where your ideal client shops because your ideal client might not be even a Pure One shopper. They
Yeah.
might be an Ethan Allen shopper or, even higher.
Right. Exactly.
So definitely go look and, you know, where they shop
Yeah. Cool.
because you'll be surprised.
Yeah. Awesome.